As we all know, the Spurs got the second overall pick in the 2025 NBA draft. And the Spurs, a season prior, or I guess you could say this season, they traded for De'Aaron Fox. And my question is, was it really worth it considering we got the number 2 pick this season? But I guess it would be impossible to even assume or even guess it would get the number 2 pick. We almost got the number 1 pick, and thinking that we were even close or just blessed that this number 2 pick is insane. Getting the number 1 pick in Victor Wembanyama, and then the year after getting Stephon Castle at number 4, and then the year after getting Dylan Harper, hopefully, at number 2. That's just crazy luck. Us Spurs fans are just truly blessed to have this luck on our side. But needless to say, there are still doubts in our minds, thinking maybe we jumped the gun too quick on De'Aaron Fox, maybe we could have waited. But at the end of the day, we still only gave up Trey Jones and John Collins and the Bulls pick. So it wasn't really that big of a deal, but it's just a thought. So next season, that could mean our guard backcourt could be Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, and Dylan Harper. And that honestly just sounds like just too much. And De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle have been really earning their minutes, so it's like, how is Dylan Harper going to get into this rotation? Will he come off? He's going to come off the bench, but how much playtime is he really going to get? Is he really going to be able to develop? Is he really going to be able to play? It's just so many questions that Mitch Johnson has to answer and our front office has to figure out. And if we make any trades and shoot, then this video might be for nothing because either De'Aaron Fox or Dylan Harper. Actually, nah. De'Aaron Fox will probably stay, but Dylan Harper, at the number 2 pick, he's more likely to be moved. So, honestly, this might not even matter. But while we're here, we could try to dissect what Dylan Harper is and what he can be on the Spurs. At 6'6", 215 pounds, Dylan Harper has drawn comparisons to Jalen Brunson and even James Harden. And I mentioned that he has a 6'10" wingspan. And another interesting fact that I just found out is he's related to Ron Harper that played for the Bulls. I just found that pretty fascinating because I didn't even hear anything about that. Anyways, Dylan Harper can space the floor, play really good D, and even play make. That's why he gets his comparisons from Jalen Brunson. Well, not the defensive part, but the playmaking part, if you know what I mean. Dylan Harper is no cone. Even compared to De'Aaron Fox, he could definitely play better D with his long wingspan, harassing other offensive players. And next to Wemby, Castle, and Sohan, they could be a really good defensive core together. Having to go through Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper and then having Wemby in the back end while having Sohan just maybe roam, that's just crazy defensive potential. And he has a good chance of coming off the bench, so he could even create a big spark off the bench with his scoring and his passing and his playmaking. And especially since we've been a not quite so good defensive team and a good team overall without Wemby on the court, maybe him coming off the bench could really help us out on that end. This guy has a ton of potential, and this team has a ton of potential to not just make the play-in, but actually have a decent playoff spot, maybe even a top 5, top 6 seeding. So actually I changed my mind. This really could work with Dylan Harper coming off the bench. Maybe this isn't too much. Maybe it could work just fine and I'm just overreacting. Because you see the Indiana Pacers right now in the playoffs having McConnell and Benedict Mathurin and all these other players. Nemhard. It's damn, bro. They have so much depth, and that literally could be us next season with Dylan Harper coming off the bench. The way I see it is, if we have De'Aaron Fox for our current, we have, or I guess our present, we have Dylan Harper for our future. And if we ever decide to get rid of De'Aaron Fox, or God forbid he gets hurt or something, we'll always have Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper is like a safety net if anything happens to De'Aaron Fox, basically. So maybe Dylan Harper isn't really a concern as much as Devin Vassell or Keldon Johnson is. Because if we want Stephon Castle to start, then it means Vassell would have to play the 3, and as we've seen in the previous seasons, he just hasn't been really doing it that well because he's not that big of a guy, and the 3 is just not his natural position because he plays the shooting guard position. And for about 2 years, I've been saying we might need to get rid of Keldon Johnson because he just hasn't really been a great scorer for us. But now I'm just thinking maybe it's Vassell we trade because he has more value. And don't get me wrong, Devin Vassell is definitely more talented than Keldon Johnson, but It's just the fit at this point. He hasn't been really able to stay consistent and stretch the floor all that well, considering we need like 3-point shooting because we've been struggling at that. At this point, Devin Vassell and Stephon Castle are just both too talented to come off the bench. So I'm curious what we do with Devin Vassell or Keldon Johnson and see if we could trade for a better shooter or shooting, maybe Cam Johnson, because I've seen rumors of him possibly getting traded to the Spurs because we need that shooting. Spurs shot 35% from the 3-point line this season, being top 11 in the worst 3-point shooting teams in the 2025 season. And we could for sure be a better team in 3-point shooting next season, but I don't think it'll be a significant jump unless we get a Cam Johnson or a Ty Jerome. Overall, I think Dylan Harper can be a really good fit with the Spurs. Of course, as long as we have De'Aaron Fox, he probably will not blossom into a superstar, but at least he'll be a really good bench piece. And it's more so the others that I'm really concerned about, Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson. See what happens with them. Maybe we trade them for better shooters, or hopefully sign Naz Reid and steal him away from the Timberwolves, hopefully. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed, and leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all later.